Hey Nimoy, you got a pen?
Yeah, I think I have one somewhere around here. Why?
Well, the weirdest thing just happened. I was looking around for some place for us to live, and this white guy came up to me and said he was from the government.
Well, what happened then?
Well, then he asked me to sign this document.
And did you sign it?
Well, I started to, but the pen I had didn't work, and he offered me his pen, but instead I got bored, and then I came and found you.
You have the document with you?
No, he seemed pretty cagey about letting me look at it. He put it in this big folder labeled Treaties. So I figured he must be one of them academic types, and I know they've been having a rough go of it lately, so I thought I'd help him out by signing his thing.
Treatise? Well, let's go and find... Wait, hang on. Treatise or treaties?
Well, what would the difference be?
Well, a treatise is a formal written work on a subject, and a treaty is slightly more complicated.
Herman and Nimoy, full of lots of joy. They're really quite brazen with investigations. Nimoy is learning with his good right Herman. It's Herman and Nimoy.
Okay, so what is a treaty?
Well, a treaty is a formal agreement between two or more nations.
And what do they do?
Well, it could be a peace agreement, or outlining territory, or giving up certain rights or property.
Oh, so is that what this guy was trying to do?
That would be my guess, yes.
Well, that is concerning. Could you tell me a bit about the history of treaties?
I sure can. From 1778 to 1871, the United States made hundreds of treaties with indigenous nations. A little over 370 of them were ratified.
And what does ratified mean?
So once the treaty was negotiated, it had to be approved by the Senate. Sometimes they would approve it and send it to the president to sign. Other times they would reject it.
And what happens if they rejected it? Would they renegotiate?
Sometimes, but often they'd just not tell the other side that the treaty wasn't ratified.
What? The United States government engaged in illegal and underhanded practice? I am astonished. Gasp, I think I may need a few minutes to recover from my total shock.
Okay, while you're recovering, let's hear a creation story.
Why, hello there. Are you ready to hear another creation story? This Dakota creation story comes to us from Gwen Westerman. When the earth was young, it was covered in water. A powerful water spirit sent some animals down into the water one by one to reach the bottom and find clay to bring up to the surface. Many animals tried. Finally, Muskrat took a turn, diving into the water and eventually surfacing with a paw full of clay. This clay was placed on the turtle's back and made land. But Otay, the confluence of the Minnesota and Mississippi rivers, was where the Dakota people came from the stars to be on Earth. Here the earth opened up, and from the mud, the Creator made the first Dakota man and woman. Thank you for joining us for another creation story. Let's learn the directions in Dakota. Itokogata, south. Waziata, north. Wiohelmpada, east. Wiohiunpada, west.
Okay, so the United States made a lot of treaties. They also had a variety of less than legal techniques they would use. Okay, Herman, imagine you're a Dakota leader.
Okay.
You've lived here since time immemorial. And now the year is 1805. A fellow shows up. He says his name is Zebulon Pike.
Why, hello, Mr. Pike. What the hell do you want?
He wants 2 pieces of your land.
Well, what's he offering?
$10,000. He hands you a piece of paper to sign. What do you think?
Well, I'm intrigued. Let's go for it.
A few others agree with you, but the majority of the 5 leaders gathered decide not to sign.
Oh, so I guess it doesn't go through then.
Pike takes your signatures and sends them back to Washington.
He can do that?
They're a bit surprised to get a treaty because they didn't give him the authority to make treaties.
Wait, so he just did it anyway?
Yup.
And do I get my $10,000?
No, you never actually get that.
Dang, this sucks. I've been conned.
Hello, Lester is going to talk about colonialism with a presentation from their friend. What is colonialism? Colonialism is control over an area or people by a different area or people for the purposes of exploitation. Lester's co-worker, Jennings, now has graphic for you.
Thanks, Lester.
Okay, so here are 3 countries. Let's call them Maroon Land, Greenland, and England. All of these places have their own people, languages, and cultures. They also have their own resources. In Maroon Land, they have trees. In Greenland, they have water. And in England, they have a flag and an intense desire to take over other places. England decides they're going to colonize their neighbors. They go into Maroon Land, kill some people, and plant their flag. They keep most Maroonlanders around because they still need people to chop down the trees. The trees get turned into wood for flagpoles and sent back to England. This is called extractive colonialism. The colonial officials from England don't think of themselves as from Maroon Land. In fact, the Maroonlanders outnumber the colonizers. The Englanders can only keep control by pitting the Maroonlanders against each other. Now England decides they want to colonize more, so they send colonists to Greenland. But they don't want Greenland's water. They also want to live there. They kill and displace the native Greenlanders. They're colonists, but also settlers. They're settler colonists. This is called settler colonialism. The goal of settler colonialism is to eliminate native people entirely. Eventually, the settlers will start to think of themselves as the real original inhabitants of the land, in spite of their colonial origins. The persistence of native peoples is a threat to all forms of colonialism. In an extractive colonial society, native people can join together and force out the colonizer. This is called liberation. Native people can demand the return of their resources. This is called repatriation. They can even seek money for damages, or reparation. In a settler colonial society, native people serve as a reminder that the settlers can never replace indigenous people. In settler colonial societies, native people can demand repatriation of land that was taken, #land back, and reparation for damages.
That is colonialism. It is bad. Thank you for coming.
Wancha, Nupa, Yamani, Dopa, Sapta, Shakpe, Shakoin, Shadoha, Napchumaka, Wikchemna.
Now it's 1851. The U.S. government built a fort on the land and have started letting settlers come in.
Hey, who said they could do that?
Well, nobody. But you're not doing super great. The settlers keep taking your stuff and scaring away the animals you need to survive, by killing them, and also you. You get offered another deal. If you sign a treaty to give up some more of your land, you'll get some more money.
No, they conned us last time. Who's to say they won't do it again?
When you say this at the meeting, Luke Leah, the government official, makes fun of you.
God, what a jerk. Okay, I guess I'll at least look at the treaty.
It's in English, you can't read it.
Well, then how am I supposed to know what it says?
Stephen Riggs, a missionary, offers to translate.
Okay, out of character question. Is it a good translation?
No, it is not.
Well then no, I'm not signing.
Luke Leah tells you that if you don't sign the treaty, the government will just come and take what they want.
I hate this guy. Fine, I'll sign the treaty.
They hand you a document in English to sign.
I sign it.
Then Stephen Riggs, the translator, calls you over to a table with Henry Sibley, a fur trader. They tell you to sign another document. You think it's a copy of the treaty.
Well, I guess they don't exactly have Xerox yet. I'll sign that one too.
Then he hands you another document in English.
Fine, I signed that one too.
Henry Sibley says you owe him $431,735.
What? From where?
He says that you just signed a document saying that you owed him $431,735.
This game sucks. Next time I get to be the U.S. government. What, can I pay him with some of the money from the treaty I just signed?
Well...
What now, Nimoy?
Still don't get actual money. The government decides how they're going to spend the money for you.
That's like hearing you've won the lottery and then finding out that it's in Kohl's gift cards. So what do they give me?
Well, mostly rotten beef, old cattle, and blankets full of holes.
This game sucks.
Well, in 1858, you go to Washington, D.C.
And what, pray tell, am I doing in Washington?
The government wants some more of your land.
The land they said I could live on forever.
Yup.
The land I don't even need their permission to occupy.
Yup.
And how much of the land do they want?
Half.
No.
Yeah, but
No.
they tell you they won't take you home until you sign the treaty.
God damn it. Fine. Fine. I signed the treaty.
They send you home. They also stop giving you the food they said they would because they're too busy fighting about slavery.
I hate this game. And I hate the US government.
Many place names come from the Dakota language. Iowa comes from Ayukba, meaning the sleepy ones. Minnesota comes from Minnesota Makoche, the land where the water reflects the sky. Pademakaska means Lake White Earth. Minnehaha means curling waters or waterfall. Chaska comes from Koske, meaning firstborn son. Winona comes from Winuna, meaning firstborn daughter. Mendota comes from Bedote, where two waters come together. Shakopee comes from Sakpe, meaning six.
Oh, do you remember where we left off?
Yeah, they took half my land and stopped giving me food.
Yeah, so what do?
I'll ask a trader if he'll sell me some food on credit.
He tells you to go eat grass.
I go steal some food.
The trader raises the alarm and says you've declared war.
I kill him.
Jesus Christ.
No, don't come at me with that. This is a totally justified response. I've been signing these treaties for 50 years and it has gotten me nothing. I kill him, and then I stuff his mouth full of grass. Allegedly.
The army comes and imprisons you.
And what do they do with the people who didn't fight?
And they put them in a concentration camp outside in the winter.
Isn't this a children's show?
Look, history's rough.
Okay, so what happens in prison?
Well, they find you guilty.
Of?
Hey, you don't speak English. Some of your friends get sentenced to death. You get sent to Iowa.
No!
The government says you've violated the terms of your treaties, and none of them are valid anymore.
Can they do that legally?
Legally? No.
Okay, so what are my options?
Well, you can go to South Dakota, or you can sneak back and hide.
That one, I sneak back and hide.
Even though Governor Alexander Ramsey has said you should be exterminated and banished forever beyond the borders of the state?
Yes.
Alright, you sneak back. And in 1886, Congress establishes 4 Dakota communities based on former reservation land. The communities remain to this day. They're working on re-establishing language programs, traditional practices, and land bases.
Nimoy, I'm not gonna lie. That sucked. But I'm glad things seem to suck slightly less now.
When you bask in those good feelings, here's a word from our sponsor.
The Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Dodge Dakota, the Mazda Navajo, the Jeep Comanche, the Pontiac Aztec, the Winnebago. The automotive industry has a proud tradition of borrowing the names of powerful people for our powerful vehicles. And now we at Ford have one to beat 'em all. The Ford Caucasian. 4-wheel drive, blinding xenon headlights, polarized windows, the Ford Caucasian is capable from going from 0 to 88 distressingly quickly. The Caucasian honors the vision of our founder, Henry Ford, seen here receiving a Medal of Friendship from the German government in 1938. The Caucasian also pioneers our new heat-sensitive interior seating. If left exposed to the sun, the white seats will turn a bright pink, letting you know to watch out. The Caucasian also comes with a fully equipped surround sound system, so you can listen along to every word of the latest Coldplay hits. The Caucasian takes a century of expertise and distills it into a ride with style and privilege. We are proud to offer the Caucasian in 3 colors: normal, pasty, and Italian. Ford. Drive one.
Let's learn the colors in Dakota. Sha, Sha, Z. Shazi. Do. Toto. Stan. Sapa. Hota. Ska. Ki. Gitka.
Okay, so listen up. It's come to Elmer's attention that some of you don't know the difference between a bison and a buffalo. This is bad. They're very different animals. So once again, the inadequacies of the educational system fall to Elmer. Okay, so first we need to review. This is a dog, Canis familiaris. Dog is its real name. Canis familiaris is what the nerds call it. That's his nerd name. Nerd name is in two parts. The genus and the species. The genus is the bigger group of related animals it's in, and the species is just this animal. Buffalo and bison are in the family Bovidae, in the subfamily Bovinae. They can be separated into two categories: cows and bison, and buffalo. Now let's look at the genera. Genera is the plural of genus. One genus, two genera. Why is that? I asked the nerd one time, but all they said was put me down, don't hurt me. Anyway, cows are in the genus Bos. Bison are in the genus Bison. That's convenient. Buffalo are in two genera, Bubulus and Sincerus. Okay, so Bos, you got your cow, Bos taurus. You got your other cow, Bos taurus indicus, which is from India. You had your aurochs, Bos primigenius. We don't have those no more because we can't have anything nice. You got your Gael, Bos frontalis, and your Gar, Bos garus. These guys can take out a tiger. We got yaks and stuff in here too, but we're not here to talk about bows. We're here to talk about bison. This is a bison, the plains bison. Bison, bison, bison. The genus and the species of bison, and they're also part of the subspecies bison. This is compared to your wood bison. Bison, bison at the basket. They're bigger and they got a hump. Historically, wood bison lived in the north and the plains bison lived everywhere else. Then the white people came and killed most of them. Anyway, you also got your wizened, your European bison, Bison bonasus. They're smaller and they got curly horns. Those are your bison. And let's talk buffalo. You got your domesticated water buffalo, Bubulus babalis. There's actually two kinds of water buffalo, sort of like there's two kinds of cows. You got your river buffalo and your swamp buffalo. River buffalo got longer faces and bigger legs. They prefer rivers and were domesticated in India about 5,000 years ago. Your swamp buffalo is stockier and thicker and they got shorter tails. The horns are different too. They were domesticated in China about 4,000 years ago. They were both domesticated from the wild water buffalo. You got other stuff in here too. You got your Tamaral, Bubulus midorensis, but I got better things to do than make an exhaustive list for you. Wikipedia is free. Anyway, the other buffalo are in the genus Sincerus. They're what's known as the African buffalo. They're not domesticated. You got your forest buffalo, Sincerus cafananus, and your Cape buffalo, Sincerus cafa. These guys will take out lions. Anyway, yeah, so bison and buffalo are two entirely different things. I better not be here you being careless with your language. This has been Elmer's World.
So are treaties still relevant today?
Yes, treaties are living documents, and they still have important standing today. One of the many reasons they remain relevant is because of usufructuary rights.
And that's a $5 word, Nimoy. What's it mean?
Well, it basically means that even if you don't own the land, you can still use it for things like hunting and fishing.
Well, that is neat.
Yup, courts have repeatedly affirmed the rights of indigenous nations to hunt and fish on the lands they were displaced from.
I bet the white people don't like that.
They sure don't.
Nimoy, I've learned so much today.
Me too.
I think now it might be time for the word of the day. Today's word of the day is colonialism.
Colonialism is the act of taking over another place to live there and or exploit their resources.
Nimoy, these have been very heavy episodes. Can we learn about something fun next time?
And no promises. Today's show will be brought to you by reparations. Someday.